Hey everyone, I'm Clefect, and today we are going to make a December Piglet. And for me, you can't say December without Christmas. So first, we're going to make a gift, is what I'm trying to get in frame here, that the Piglet can sit on. Now every present needs to be wrapped up a certain way, and here we do that with clay. Now remember, each package should be handled with care, so you don't accidentally make a tear. Now the flaps also have a place, so put them gently on the gift space. Not putting on the ribbon would also be a crime, and I promise you, now I will stop with this rhyme. I'm sorry guys, I just couldn't help myself. I promised Mr. Clefect that I wouldn't sing. So here, you got a Christmas rhyme. Or something of that sort. Anyway, now that the base is almost done, it's time for the Piglet. And I forgot to hit record when I made the armature. So we are skipping ahead to where I'm putting the clay on the little Piglet. I think we're going to call her Penny. Now I want Penny to be placed on the present, so that's why I made the gift first. Now with the torso done, I'm cutting a ball of clay into two and shaping them to thighs, while doing a little tap dance apparently. I take my time with this sculpture, because I want the position to look natural for poor Penny, so I take it step by step also with the legs. And if you're wondering why I'm using coarse clay with the legs, it's because I want them to have a little more give and be a little more bendy, because I don't know what my mom is doing with her sculptures, but she is always manhandling them in some way. So I cover my bases and move on to the feet. I make them by cutting a clay thingy in half and put it over the wire before closing it, and blend it into the rest of the leg. Before I move on to make a set of hams Penny can be proud of. And while I'm doing that, I want to take a little time to talk about Christmas. More specifically, Christmas wishes. You see, my biggest wish is for this channel to grow and spread out, so to speak. So if you want to help my wish come true, please leave a comment, a like, or better yet, subscribe. That would make me oh so happy and make my wish for this Christmas come true. With the buttocks in its place and the crack clearly defined, it's time to move on to the arms. You see, I want her to hold a card, a from to card. So it's important to place and position the arms just right. Now we don't know much about Penny, especially since she has no head on at the moment. But I think I can guess a little bit about her. You see, Penny is the kind of girl that want attention, that want to be praised. I mean, why else would she sit on a gift holding the gift's card if it wasn't to get attention? But I don't think it comes from a mean place. I actually think she's very, very sweet. Maybe a bit insecure. But that's okay, because she's generous also. So yeah, that's what I think about Penny, while I'm defining her crack. Oh god. Now, while I keep stroking her, let's talk a bit about constructive criticism and how I want it and maybe you got it. You see, this is still a new channel, and I would be oh so grateful if you had any advice for me, because I want to become better. Now with that out of the way, here you see me making the gifts from 2 card, I think it's called. And I do that by rolling a thin layer of cosplay out before cutting it into shape and poke a hole in the side. After that I bake it before I have baked Penny's body, so I can place the card as I want. And with the card in the oven, I take some cornstarch and start to whop Penny all around, and I do that to make it more smooth. Cornstarch is a great way of doing that before I place the now baked sign in her hands. And then it was on to the bow, where I wasn't terribly worried about, because she's possibly going to sit on the bow, so you're not going to see much of it. But every gift with respect for herself needs a bow. So, anyway, I have to stop here because something horrible happened at that time. Our beloved Clayton, my pasta maker, through thick and thin, died. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. But, you know, life goes on, and I'm sure I make it somehow without Clayton. By the way, here's my new pasta maker. Isn't it pretty? Look at the red. Look at how shiny she is. Anyway, goodbye Clayton, and back to the bow. So here you see me pressing the bow to give it some folds before I place it on the gift, and then I place Penny on the bow. So to recap, I place the ribbon on the present, I place the bow on the ribbon, and then I place Penny on the bow. I know, that didn't take me a million times to record. Onwards, as they say. Now we just have to place the card before we move on to the head and actually give her some personality. Now, while I'm making the head, this might be a good time for a little disclaimer. You see, I am so happy if you learn something from me, but it's most likely to be a happy accident. I haven't sculpted for so long, so I'm not advanced in it. I just really enjoy it and enjoying sharing it with you guys, which is why you should subscribe. Anyway, now I'm just poking some eye sockets for her before putting in the eyes, which is small pre-baked balls of clay. And voila, she has eyes. After that, I moved on to making the snout. Oh, and by the way, a whole different thing. If you have a good name for my new pasta maker, please leave a comment. I would love to hear it. And back to the snout. Here you see me pressing it on before I start to define the face some more and give it a jaw. And I didn't know what kind of smile and so on, so I was fiddling around with it for a while before I decided that it should be a small smile she has. And here you see me making the eyelids before I move on to the ears. Now I want her to wear a Christmas hat, which is why the ears are going to be positioned a little bit different, and I'm fiddling around here and try to figure out how exactly her ears should be. And when that is done, it's time to place the head on the body. So now we got the ribbon on the present, the bow on the ribbon. Penny, no, I'm not doing that again. Never mind. Let's just watch me securing the head. And I do that by taking a long clay thingy and wrap it around between the head and the body before I smooth it all together. And I really take my time smoothing here, because when there's no fur, it's so easy to see if you haven't smoothed properly. And then I place the hat and make the trim for the hat before I position the Christmas hat as I want it. After that, all Sweet Penny needs is some texture on her hat. And I do that by scraping in whichever way I want on the trim to make it as fluffy as possible. And with the texture done, I move on to the paint. Now, the paint was a bit of a show, if I have to be honest. But I really don't like painting. It's something I just have to endure to make poor Penny come alive. So here you see me painting her in a Piglet pink. Before I move on to the hat and the present that I paint a bright red color. And I'm just in love with the color, I just got it and it's just so smooth. I actually managed to enjoy this process until I got to the ribbon. I mean, I think it was a nice contrast using blue, but oh my god, it took a lot of time. Especially because I wanted it to glitter and I used a bad color for that. I used a metallic blue and it was just so watery and so difficult to put on. But I got fluid. And here I'm just painting the trims before I move on to other small details like the toes and the snout. As they say, the devil is in the details, and that's completely true when it comes to sculpting. The more details you get in, the more you can elevate your art, in my opinion. Here you see me making the eyes, a nerve-wracking task I definitely do not enjoy, before I start writing on the card. Since it's a gift to my mom, I write in my own language, and what it says is just, "To you, from me." And that's the hint to where I am from today. Now all that is left is put some sparkle in her eyes, and I think that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you like Sweet Penny and she put you in a Christmas mood. I certainly am in a much better Christmas mood now, and I'm very happy how she turned out. Please stay safe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!